Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alton and I have a good friend with me, Isaiah. I like to call him the Urban Ninja.
How you guys doing? Glad to be here again.
And we call this segment Show and Tell with Alton and the Urban Ninja. So, how's it going, buddy? You having a good week?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm a little beat up. I think my workouts are taking its toll on my 41-year-old body, but
But
pretty much it.
I'll tell you what, the secret is to just sit on the couch and do nothing. It works for me. I'm in shape. Pear is a shape. That's what I'm told.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you into The Mandalorian? Are you watching it Friday night, which is tonight when this airs?
Absolutely. And I'm actually glad you brought this up. It's, probably the best thing about Disney, in my opinion, as far as the you get all these great things from having a Disney Plus account. You get all the Marvel movies, but they tend to play on ABC, and you get a lot of other things that just tend to play on other channels pretty often, so that you're not getting anything extra. But this is one of those rare things that you get extra. It's Star Wars, but it's got this really adult theme to it. It's just a great show overall. I think I binged on it twice. Like one weekend, I had a holiday weekend, and then I binged on it a second time, and it was just overall superb show.
Yeah, I watched it once with my wife, and then I watched it again with my 10-year-old. I kind of wanted to see it first to make sure it was appropriate. And yeah, it's appropriate. And of course, Baby Yoda is adorable. I mean, what are you gonna say? My wife hates Star Wars, but she loved The Mandalorian.
Well, it wasn't so much of I liked it because I'm gonna say, first off, where I started with, it wasn't so much of a Star Wars movie, right? It wasn't like that serialized Flash Gordon kind of thing going on like the movies were. Yeah. It was a much more in-depth, exposition. It was deeper. You got to learn more about some of the cultures within the Star Wars universe. Yeah. And for me, it had a harken back to the old school Star Wars, where you're about the same age as me. So like when we were growing up, you had nothing. You had the toys, and you had 3 movies, and then you had a cartoon that popped up here and there and whatever. And you were always left with this awe of mystery. And there was always this I want to know more about this guy, and I want to know more about that. But there was no internet, there was no Wikipedia, there was none of that going on.
Yeah.
And then in the late 90s, George Lucas drops the prequels, and it kind of, in my own head, I had this built up image of the battle between Obi-Wan and what kind of guy was Anakin like before he became Vader. And George Lucas kind of put the kibosh on it and just ruined everything for me. He's just but that's a story for another day. And then you have the newer, the what do you call these now? The sequel, trequel, triquels, whatever you want to call it, the third.
Yeah.
Which kind of harkens back to that old school feeling, but it didn't quite do it the way, it didn't have that mystery and that awe. And again, I think it's a suffering of too much information nowadays, right? You have too much information, so you don't have that mystery and that awe that we had growing up when we first saw Star Wars. And this kind of takes it back to that level where, it has that mystery and we're waiting to find out things, and there's, nobody's pre-gaming and telling us what's going on, and there's the articles, and it's a really good show.
So I have 2 boys, one is 10. We've watched the trilogy, like the original trilogy, that's the trilogy. Mm-hmm. Then he kind of said, well, is there any more movies? I said, well, they made these prequels. He's like, I want to watch them. Okay, we'll watch them. So he did. But I'll never forget when I'm waiting for that moment when Vader reveals that he's Luke's father. And my kid is watching the TV and he's totally into it, eating his popcorn. And I'm just staring at him like, like I can't wait. And I'm watching his reaction, not the movie. And he's like, what? And I loved it. I'm glad I have a second boy who's 4. So I don't know, when he's around 6 or 7, I'll do that again.
Right.
Your daughter
Right.
will love it though. Your daughter's cool.
Yeah, she loves Star Wars. She has many, she has the smaller action figures that have come out with these newer movies, which are not the 4-inch figures like we grew up with, but they're more like play school style. So she has a Millennium Falcon and all that stuff. She actually loved the Mandalorian. She has a Baby Yoda as well, which was a pain to get my hands on. I think a big thing for me with the Star Wars franchise and the time that she's 6 now, so it was more about Rey and having that positive female image with her, that really brought it out with her, that I really wanted to enforce her watching it. But, back to one more comment about the prequels, and then I have one more thing to show you before we move on off of this topic, was I always envisioned Anakin as this like really brave, cool, hero before he turned to Vader. And those prequels, man, did they ruin that image? I was like, this guy you should have known was evil from the beginning. Like the guy that he was a jerk since he showed up on the screen. And he just had this bad look. And then by the third prequel movie, he's wearing all black, he's got scars on his face, he's like really nasty. And I'm like, you guys are blind, or like
should have seen it coming. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there was that other part of Obi-Wan, which I think to me, Alec Guinness, like he brought that gravitas to that role. Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan, there was something about him. He didn't even know where those movies were going back in the 70s and 80s when they were filming them. But he had this way about his acting that made it look like he was hiding something, even though he didn't even know, because, backstory is that, nobody knew Vader was Luke's father. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you watch the original movie, A New Hope, and you kind of see Obi-Wan is a little sneaky with him telling, he's like, making facial gestures. So it was just, and I thought they were good friends. I never saw them being good friends in any of those movies. And I thought that, that was what really got lost for me. Like, he was never really your friend, pal. Like, why are you so disappointed? In honor of The Mandalorian, on Monday, and a good friend of mine, John O'Brien, showed me this. He does a podcast with his wife, and I've been on their podcast. But she put me onto this, and they are basically dropping these November 4th, Mandalorian sneakers from Adidas.
Okay.
So I just wanted to, enlighten you to that little thing. Since,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So what is your daughter going to be for Halloween?
So she actually has 2 costumes. Started with Captain Marvel. And last year she was Spider-Gwen, and the costume still fits her. And I love Spider-Gwen. I love Into the Spider-Verse. It's probably my favorite Spider-Man movie out of all 7 movies, I believe it is now. Yeah. And so this year I actually got myself the Miles Morales Spider-Man costume. Because being that he's half Puerto Rican, it's like, hey, I might as well do the Miles Morales one. And yeah, there you go. So we're going to let her go to her party as Captain Marvel, and then I'm going to take her out trick-or-treating as Miles Morales with Spider-Gwen.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that's where we're going with it. That is my costume. I think it looks pretty good.
I love it. It's fantastic. Did you film that yourself? Did you get your arm down there and do the camera work?
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even pull off a pocket shot, and you're doing that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going as what I go every year for Halloween. I am actually going as a middle-aged fat white man. So it's perfect. Yeah.
You know what you can do is, not to knock your costume, but I seen, remember that episode of The Office, the Halloween, where, everybody was dressed up, but Jim just had a name tag, and he was like, my name is Bob, and he's like, who are you supposed to be? Like a Bob.
I'll do a Bob. I'll do a Bob.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, we're not doing Halloween. We're not trick-or-treating this year. We're going to do a little trick-or-treat in the house with the kids and watch some scary movies. keep it low key, and just for a year, just to keep ourselves a little bit more protected.
Right.
The kids get it.
Right.
They understand. So.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping, because we live in an apartment building with a lot of apartments, we can just go trick or treating within the building itself, and maybe if we have friends that live in another building, we can trick or treat at their place.
Yeah, people are trick or treating in our community, but we just chose not to. And as long as the kids get candy, honestly, I don't think they care. All right, it's time for a wrist check. What are you wearing today?
So I'm wearing my Carpenter watch, the one we featured last week. So big shout out to Neil Carpenter. I think he gave us some support on this video, and overall good guy. I like the fit. It's I thought with my white button down and my khakis on, it was actually like a perfect fit going on there. So it's a pretty nice watch. It's, even wearing it now, and this is my first, inaugural wearing. So
okay,
good. What are you wearing?
Well, because I want to talk about it a little bit later, I've got my Timex Batman on today.
Okay.
Yeah, which I know is not a favorite watch for you, I don't think.
The M79.
M79, baby.
Yeah,
a very, very polarizing watch. Not everybody loves this watch. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But on my channel, on my channel, it's one of the more viewed videos that I have. So people are definitely interested. They just maybe don't want to pony up 330 Canadian, I think it is. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to do right now is actually transition into watch news. And speaking of the M79, all right, and so I want to talk about the new Timex that's coming out. I know that you got an email, and it said the Masked Marvel is coming. And what were you looking for? What were you expecting in that email?
Well, I think the fact that it said Masked Marvel was a little misleading, because when I see Marvel and Mask, I automatically assume, going back to us speaking about my Spider-Man costume, so I wasn't expecting that, to say the least. Yeah,
no, I love Snoopy. I love everything Peanuts, and my favorite Christmas movie is the Peanuts Christmas movie. So I had posted something on Instagram saying, I wish I hadn't bought this one, because then they come out with the one with Snoopy on it.
Traded in, traded.
But yeah, I'll trade it in. But Timex never took me up on it. I tagged him and everything. I'll trade you this one for Snoopy. They didn't even bother to mention you. So yeah, I know that's a polarizing thing, this watch, but Snoopy definitely sells. The original Timex Q, the quartz version, sells like hotcakes. I mean, they have how many colors now? And that Houdini one is really, really nice. I kind of wish I jumped on that. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think what undersold me was with the original, when they reissued the Q, was the whole 70s. Even their little commercial that was playing on your Instagrams or on YouTube, or if you went to their channel or their website, it was a bit. I don't know, too 70s for me. It just had a real 70s feel to it. And I just been looking at the watch. I was like, yeah, I could see that being from the 70s, but it's not my cup of tea. But I've got nothing personal against the watch.
But you could never wear this watch anyway, buddy. I mean, look at that bracelet. There's no way that you're getting away with wearing a bracelet like that without losing all the hairs on your wrist.
Oh yeah, no, forget about it. I'd be that thing is yeah. And is that one the elastic band or the? Because I'm definitely afraid of the elastic type.
It's metal. It's
no, I know it's metal, but there's the metal bracelets that are elastic that they scare the crap out of.
Oh no, it's I get it. No, it's solid. It's it doesn't really have much give to it.
It's the tongue and groove type with the piece that hangs under, so you can adjust it by moving the buckle, right?
Yeah, it's awesome to size. You just slide this thing up and down. There's just a little stick a tool in that little hole, slide it up and down, which I like. But the thing is, if you don't see, it's kind of dangerous. You put it on and then you've got to really make sure you get it on that bar and clip it in. And the other day I put it on, and I guess I hadn't clipped it in properly. I was wearing a sweater with an elastic cuff, which was good because I felt pop. I felt it open up.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's good.
I have a
It's good and
Waterbury
bad.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Waterbury with that same thing. So I like the, you know, in the Snoopy terms, and this is way outside my price range, is the Omega Speedmaster with Snoopy on it.
Yes.
So that's,
yes.
You know, like if I had to have Snoopy,
if I had to have Snoopy, if you gave me an Omega with Snoopy, I would take it, I guess.
I would take it, yes.
I hear what you're saying. I want to show you something else here.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite watch right there.
Okay, so in other watch news, I know that Isaiah's buying a brand new watch. He saw this one on TV and had to have it.
I mean, it was just so steeply discounted, and it's, you know, amazing.
MSRP $20,000, discounted to $49.99.
Yeah, I think it might have been $250 or something. I mean, it's worth its weight in gold.
You are addicted to watching the Watch Channel.
So, yeah, I have a guilty pleasure of watching the Invicta Watch Channel. I've never ordered anything from it. I just love the sales pitch because I find the watch, look, you know, to everyone each his own. I get it. If you like that chunky, busy look, that's your thing. But I just find the sales pitch incredible because I feel like some of the people would not ever wear this watch, especially the ladies. And the ladies tend to put these giant watches and look how awesome it looks on my wrist. And I'm like, yeah, there's like the guy who's 6'2", and even that watch yourself, they showed Shaq wearing it. And I think it's like 62 millimeters or something. And it looks big on Shaq. How am I supposed to wear something like that? But it looks big on Shaq. But anyway.
That's got to be one of the toughest jobs in the world, being those ladies on those shows trying to pretend that they love every product that comes their way.
Yeah. I mean, they do it with a straight face, but I do love the sales pitch. I find it funny. It's just too funny. Look how great it looks on me. I mean, even with that larger size, it's amazing. And it's like,
all right, we are running out of time. So let's go to show and tell. What do you have to show us today?
So I got a couple things. Actually, I got 4 things. So my first thing is still watch related. Just a quickie. I posted this watch as a strap as a feature on my page yesterday, Tuesday. And I thought it was a pretty cool strap. We had discussed it when I was looking for a bone strap. And it's got this cool little cover on it. So I can wear it as a regular bone strap and it protects my watch. But I just wanted to give this a nice highlight. I got it off of Etsy. I thought it was a really cool thing. So I just wanted to, show and tell.
Yeah, send me a link to the Etsy page and we'll throw it up there.
I will. And so I guess you wanted to know about my sneakers. So I brought some sneakers in. All right. So these are my Air Jordan 1 Retro mids. Mid-size, obviously. I don't like wearing the too high size, and I do not like the lows. I kind of feel like, this is pretty much my range, same as watches. I have a height range, and this is it, my mids. These are pretty much like, I ordered these after watching Spider-Verse for the 15th time. I couldn't find the original ones he wore. I could, but, I'd probably been better off buying a Grand Seiko. That's what the charge. Obviously, depending on release date and what's available, the prices tend to go up. But I think these are a really great pair, and they go with my, my Spider-Verse costume. They mesh pretty well that I can get away with it. Black toe, gym red, and, the white. So I got 3 colors going on. And these are, that retro style Air Jordan 1s. I tend to wear sneakers that are more 80s style. I don't like newer, even in the 90s when I had sneakers, I didn't like the newer with the patent leathers and all that kind of thing. So I like the throwbacks with it. So right there, Jordan 1 retros. these are a pair of Air Force Ones I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
These are pretty cool because of the contrast. They're not like the original Air Force Ones. They had this very special edition kind of thing going on here, and numbering throughout the tongue of it which is really just the cleaning and the typical things you would find inside a tag, but it was kind of interesting. That was it. The one caveat with these type of shoes I tend to do is always change the laces. These came with a black pair of laces. I had another pair that are white, all white with a black check, and those came with a white pair of laces. So I swapped the laces so I can have that contrast.
Yeah, those look good with
the white pair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get the white to bring out the white and bring, it makes it much better. And then the other pair all white where I bring out the, with the black, I bring out the check and the laces. So, I thought it was nice, but with the black laces, this piece didn't really shine out as through. And now they're more, they got much more pop, right? And it's a low top, a little heavier than my Jordans. I do prefer wearing Jordan 1s if you can see the sole, much thinner, where these are a much heavier shoe. I almost feel like I can wear these in the snow if they were a bit higher. So, it's a big difference in kick. And then my last pair I'm going to show are my Jordan 3s. I was waiting all summer for these to come out. And unfortunately, they came out like right at the end of August, beginning of September. These are Jordan 3 retros. They're a special color denim. So you see this stuff is like a denim blue color, all these little round edges here, this with a nice, it's got that marbly kind of thing going on. But I don't anticipate wearing these much until the next spring rolls around with their all white, going on. So, but, since you want a little insight, I've got your 3 pairs of shoes to show off.
Awesome. So you wear those shoes outside?
Yeah, absolutely.
They look spotless, man. Like they look like you haven't taken them anywhere.
I have a method, so I'll share. There's a whole thing that goes into
Okay. Let's say that for another episode because we're running out of time.
All right, what do you got to show me?
You should definitely share that with us because I buy a pair of white sneakers and they look gray within a week.
I'll do a side by side with an old pair and a new pair of the same exact sneakers.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, so I wanted to show you this really quickly. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a new Bulova hack, and it's been distressed. What do you think of that?
I was going to say I have that watch, but yours looks beat.
Yeah. There is a guy on Instagram. He is simply known as J.N.416. So 416 is the area code for Toronto, or at least the original. So he's a Canadian dude in Toronto. And so he's actually distressed his Bulova hack. And knowing that you enjoy Bulova and you've got one of these, would you ever do something like this to your hack?
So I do know the gentleman you're speaking of. He's actually sent me pictures of these. And B, I would not do that to my hack. I mean, I get it. I guess it gives it kind of a vintage feel, but I'd much rather bid on trying to get me not a new, but an actual A11 vintage that got those beatings and on Normandy Beach than do it myself. Plus, I'm kind of. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of curious how he does it. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, he put the strap in salt water. And this is where he got the idea from, this Mr. Enthusiast who did it to his tutor, which is insane.
Wow.
That's a PL1. Like that's not a cheap watch.
No, it's not. And like, what are they using? Is he using a? I guess I'll have to ask him. But it's like, is he using a Dremel or something? Like, how do you keep that clear of your crystal as well? Because it looks like this crystal's spotless and it's a mineral. That watch is a mineral crystal. It's not a. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's what he did. I asked him. He said he used a Dremel for most of it. He dragged it on the edge of his granite countertop, and that. He gave it a quick polish to clean up the dents and the nicks, and then he used fine sandpaper to finish it to give it a dull look. and he's planning on baking the dial.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. It's not something that I would personally do, and I thought it took some guts, especially the guy who did it to his tutor.
Yeah, I know, right? The Bulova you could throw away and get another one, but
yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't know anything about that. The guy who did it to his tutor. I'd like if you watch this, message me, tell me about your process. But yeah, he must have more money than, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the watch still works. So at the end of the day, it's not, you know, it still does what it does, and it's a look. You know, I mean, you remember the days when we were all buying jeans that were, you know, shredded, and our parents were up our ass about. I could have just bought your regular jeans and shredded them myself, and that kind of thing. So, you know, I mean, I get it. But it's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah. This whole hobby is something that's just about fashion anyway. So
yeah,
if that makes you happy, then do it. If it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. I think really, I mean, no one even needs a watch technically these days. You've got a calculator computer in your pocket with a clock on it. So
it's definitely an anachronistic hobby. But in that sense, it's, you know, again, it's a matter of taste and preference. And like you said, like that Boone strap that I ordered, like everybody, not everybody, but 50% of people are anti-Boone strap. They just don't like it. And, you know, I'm just like, oh, well, I'm going to have to be a counterculture with it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why people get a little bit too, I hate this, I hate that. Well, who really cares what you hate? Just let's talk about what you enjoy.
That guy, the guy that you're talking about, I think I had the conversation and he's ordering the same boot strap as well. He really liked it. So now that you're illuminating the distress, I'm like, what's the reason for the protection? But hey.
Well, maybe he'll chime in on the comments if he ever watches.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
As always. Talk to you soon, out there. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. You know the deal. And a huge thank you to Isaiah, the Urban Ninja, for joining us today once again.